Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution. Ay, Bitcoin is the one, no substitution. Ay, with Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have a special show for you guys today. We have Jeff from Runemine here. He is the BD over there, so it's going to be a great interview. So, if you don't know what Runemine is, you probably live under a rock because they are a bridge from Solana to Bitcoin, and they're also going to be doing some L2 stuff. We're going to get into that with him. He's going to break that down for us. But their main coin bridging was the ticker is ELSA. If you heard that a few weeks ago, like we did, or it might have been a month ago at this point, it was huge. ELSA like skyrocketed, right? So it was pretty cool to see ELSA being Hal Finney's dog. So that was awesome. It really got our attention and got us looking into what Runemine is and everything like that. So let's get this started. I'm bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, man? So what can you tell me about Runemine and how you feeling about it?
Yeah, so I'm still learning about Runemine, but we've heard about it from the ticker is ELSA, right? Like just hearing about them bridging over that Rune token over to Solana and that kind of being that experiment. But then, it really piqued my interest once I started to realize that a lot of these Bitcoin Layer 1 assets are starting to put their fingerprints in all these other ecosystems, right? Yeah. So this is just another example of that. And Solana being a top chain, top ecosystem, especially, it seems like that's going to be the case heading into this bull market. I think it makes sense to have that two-way bridge, right? For assets to kind of flow back and forth. So I think we're going to learn a lot today from Jeff, being the fact that he is the lead of business development over there. And I'm excited really to see how this is going to really work for both ecosystems.
Yeah, that's the best part of our job, man. We get to sit down with the heads of these projects and kind of really find out the what's going on and what's it going to be, right? So I'm looking forward to that. So let's get to start it. Without further ado, let's bring in Jeff. Welcome to Ordinal Revolution, Jeff.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for having me, and it's great to be here.
GM, man. So before we get started, we'd like to really kind of know the person we're talking to. So if you could kind of give us your background as far back as you can and kind of lead us up to your crypto journey.
Yeah, sure thing. So I got into Bitcoin quite early, 2016. I was studying my master's in engineering at university. I was a typical poor student working multiple jobs and, just getting by, but also trying to make something of myself. Kind of really understood the philosophy and the principles behind Bitcoin and what it could do for a lot of people in my situations or in much worse situations in the world. So got super invested in it. Was spending all my time researching it, barely doing my degree. And then kind of started to ride the 2016 cycle. Saw the opportunity for someone in my situation to make more money in other areas, kept always adding to my Bitcoin bags, but then got involved in all the Ethereum ICOs and everything going on in the Ethereum ecosystem. And then, inevitably round tripped it. Wasn't an expert on, the stock markets or global economics or anything like that. But never gave up. So finished my degree, decided I was going full time into crypto, spent the next 3 years kind of just trading, investing, and just digesting and learning as much as I could about the space. And then, as things progressed and we kind of saw other chains coming around, got quite into the Solana ecosystem quite early, but realized eventually that I wanted to do more than just kind of participate and invest. So started writing technical articles about projects, deep diving into their white papers, just kind of, doing the usual Twitter, sharing the info that I had learned. Moved on from that, eventually started picking up some work, writing technical articles for other projects, helping out with documentation. got into white paper writing for projects and kind of coming on board and helping projects build out their white papers from an early stage. And yeah, just kind of kept continuing to expand my workload in the ecosystem, and then eventually came into contact with the team at Runemine, and we were kind of looking into, they'd already been developing in the Bitcoin space, working out what was coming, and we all agreed that Runes was the obvious play. You know, we firmly believe that this is going to play out to be the ERC20 of the Bitcoin ecosystem. So we started working with them about the end of last year, just before Christmas. And yeah, then last 9 months have been non-stop, 12+ hour days every day of the week, a lot of the time, just grinding with Runemine and, you know, looking to expand the whole Bitcoin ecosystem as much as we can and push things as fast as we can, really.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you, so once you got into, you know, integrated with this team, how do you feel about, what do you think that the community's response would be for an actual bridge kind of from Bitcoin and Solana? Did you expect there to be like a positive response from the Bitcoin ecosystem? What was your team's expectations?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, this kind of comes back to the journey that lots of us had been on, which was starting with Bitcoin, like Bitcoin being a fundamental principle in our lives, but then also seeing the opportunity and everything else that happened in the ecosystem. A lot of the other teams had also been on a similar journey to me, working their way around, and then once seeing Bitcoin flourish again, kind of realizing that that's where we really wanted to be building. And we think this is similar for a lot of users. You know, a lot of people really believe in the Bitcoin ethos, but at the end of the day, most users are here to try and make money, try and change their financial situation. So it encourages people into these other spaces, and you know, that's why we've seen Solana do so well. But whilst we were kind of starting to build in the Runes ecosystem, we noticed that actually a lot of the people that had come over to Runes and Ordinals in the early days, lots of these people were the same people that had done these journeys, and they'd been in the Solana ecosystem most recently, and they had recently come over to the Runes and Ordinals. So we started chatting to everyone, and we were building infrastructure specifically for the Runes. We built Canonical Runes Indexer and all of that. And then, you know, we knew that we were going to need this liquidity bridge to allow people to move more freely between the growing Bitcoin ecosystem and other highly used and highly usable chains. And, you know, we've had great responses. We're in discussions with the vast majority of major teams on Solana. We work closely between the teams and the Runes that are looking to launch over. And yeah, you know, we've generally had a very bullish response from everyone in the ecosystem. There's a lot of people in Solana that maybe actually Solana was their first chain, and they are more happy to stick with FUD and stick with what they know, stick with the user experience, but at the same time be able to invest in Bitcoin-backed assets and kind of be a part of this movement moving forwards without having to. And you know, anyone that's spent time in the Runes and Ordinals ecosystem, you know, it's not easy. Like, the block explorers are not simple, following transactions aren't easy, there's a lack of tooling, and this is obviously something we're working on the side, but it's not easy to onboard users to the Bitcoin L1 ecosystem right now, and things are definitely changing on that front. But yeah, we've had great response from people interested to get involved without actually having to leave the safety of the chains that they know.
Yeah, that's smart, because like a lot of big investors, they always want exposure to different things, right? And what I mean by exposure is, you know, they want to be very diversified, right? They want to have assets from Ethereum, assets from Solana, assets from Avalanche, all because you just don't know what's going to win, right? So why not be invested in everything? And if you can do that from the comfort of your own chain, from the comfort of the chain that you like and the wallet you enjoy, and the trust factor as well, because you have to trust, you know, the websites you go to, the wallets you use. There's a lot of trusting in there. So if you already have that trust with certain websites and certain wallets, but you also still want that exposure to different chains, that's something you guys provide, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, you know, we're very focused on a two-pronged approach. So on the one side, we are actively in the Runes ecosystem, building a Canonical Runes Indexer. On top of that, all of our all of our we've got a wallet profile watcher. We're building out trackers so that people can follow other people's wallets and things like that. So, you know, we're kind of trying to take everything that we've learned from the Solana ecosystem over the years and bring that to the Runes ecosystem, making it more usable and making it more user friendly. But at the same time, you're never going to get past block times. You're never going to get past transaction fees. So for the people where that doesn't work, even once it gets easier, to have this kind of second route into the Bitcoin ecosystem through Solana and soon to be the Bitcoin L2 space, it just made a lot of sense to us. And, you know, Solana has the user metric, it has the community aspect, it has as much functionality as you could want for a retail user. So yeah, you know, we're kind of working on these two fronts at the same time: make Runes more usable, but then also give people the other option of how to get in and how to get invested.
Amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shizzy.
No, I was just gonna say one thing about. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But so you said in the beginning, you said you think Runes is going to be the ERC20s of Bitcoin. You know, we have other token standards. I love that. I'm not gonna lie. I love that you picked Runes. It's my personal favorite. But why can you do Runes? But like, are you guys even thinking about doing any other standard?
Yeah, we absolutely are. So this is kind of something that we're exploring. You know, we've been very heavily focused. So Runes are again back to about 70% of all Bitcoin transactions. I think that was yesterday. Ordinal announced that again, and it's quite clear. You know, there's a couple of things that you need when you're building out token standards, and one of the main things is you need kind of like the notoriety and like the fame, and the fact of having Casey at the helm of Runes, being obviously the creator of Ordinals, the simplicity of Runes and the UTXO model. Like we're absolutely following everything that's happening with Tap and Track and BRC20s, and, you know, super excited. And again, it's similar to the Bitcoin L2 space. It's great to see so many different projects building in this space with slightly different methods and different routes to kind of eventually, hopefully, all see a unified goal at the end. But, you know, as a foundational meta protocol, we do believe Runes will probably live out, and that's, you know, just due to the simplicity, but also the fame that it's already got. And, you know, why did Solana manage to achieve what it achieved when hardly any other L1 chains have ever managed to do that? Well, that was largely because of the backing of FTX and everything that happened there, whether people from Solana like that or not. Without that leg up, without that, you know, without people pushing that chain for them and people knowing about it, it would have been much harder for Solana to get to where it has today. And obviously it's great that it's much more decentralized now and we don't have these actors in the space kind of controlling it. But having an important figure at the helm, as well as the simplicity and the usability of it, and this is kind of fundamental. And, you know, we're super excited to look to expand our offerings to other meta protocols. But for now, Runes definitely just made the most sense for us.
Love it.
Yeah, and you know, we saw a little bit of this kind of interoperability with some of these ERC20s that got really big from the last cycle. An example of that would be like Quant, that you can actually swap on Saucer Swap, which is Hedera Hashgraph, right? So that's a totally different chain. And so now what I think is happening is Bitcoin this is going to be expedited, right, for the Bitcoin tokens, because the limitations here, and then we're seeing it here with Solana and you know, some other ecosystems. But the Solana side, the fact that Solana has had so much attention, I think this is huge. But you did mention a two-way bridge here. So I do see a lot of these Bitcoin layer 1 assets being bridged out to all these other ecosystems. I already mentioned that. But coming from Solana, what type of tokens could you see actually live in the Runes ecosystem?
So, you know, we're having ongoing conversations with a bunch of projects. I probably can't mention them right now, but we're very excited to be kind of pushing this idea forwards. You know, one of the obvious and one of the kind of the largest cohorts of projects we're talking to are meme coins. You know, Solana has always been the meme coin champion chain, but Runes have essentially, you know, shown there is that appetite on Bitcoin, and projects that are looking to gain some provenance, be the first to do something. This is kind of the best thing about building in the Bitcoin space. We were the first to market and fully audited Runes to Solana bridge. By building in this space and being a part of this growing Bitcoin space, there's the opportunity to do things that no other projects have done before, and that brings a lot of attention. So yeah, we're in some discussions with some fairly prominent meme coins who are considering the move over to Runes. I think this kind of, it's the sell is obviously very easy bringing Runes over to the Solana ecosystem. You have the speed, you have the usability, but then taking something to the Runes ecosystem, there's a lot of provenance to that. We're also in discussions with a couple of more DeFi-based projects who are looking to have some exposure onto the Runes ecosystem. So this is something that we've kind of been working on in the background for a little while. But I think what we will see in the much nearer future is with the launch of our Bitcoin L2 bridge, which again is bi-directional with both Solana and Runes. There's a good amount of interest from a few projects looking to actually take their Solana assets over to the Bitcoin L2 space.
So Bitcoin L2, you're speaking of chains like Merlin Chain, Botonics, possibly Stacks. That ecosystem, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So we are we're actively working on. Well, we've almost just finished our Botonics bridge. We're going to be running some testnet campaigns with those guys over there over the next few weeks with the launch of their V1, their final testnet, and in conversations with lots of Runes and the projects on that side to really kind of make this an interesting launch of their final testnet. Then on top of that, we're in conversations with BitLayer and Core Chain and looking to expand our bridging capabilities over to those ecosystems. Once you've kind of built a Bitcoin EVM L2, expanding to more of them is more just a case of building the relationships, building the requirement for your bridging solution to those chains. So yeah, the possibilities are pretty endless on that front. Of course, we're kind of focusing our energy on making these launches successful and bringing a lot of attention around them. So we'll be working on a bunch of campaigns and everything with the teams to kind of bring this functionality to their chains. And everyone we've spoken to this kind of comes back to the really interesting thing. Like, to begin with, everyone was like, oh, we want a Runes bridge. We need a Runes bridge. We're super excited. And now when we tell people about it, the bit that really piques their interest is, oh, Solana assets can come over to our chain. And it's like, suddenly it's unlocking a huge liquidity supply of assets that could move over into the Bitcoin ecosystem. So this is very much a kind of two-way system, and we're really looking to integrate Solana, Runes, and all of the Bitcoin L2 space into one kind of unified place. And we're even already exploring other high potential chains that we can add into this.
Awesome. Yeah, man. So the site looks phenomenal. I love the UI. The UI feels good. It's super fast. Gets right to the point here. Everything you want. So can you kind of walk us through the team? How many are there of you guys, and what is each person's responsibilities?
Yeah, sure thing. So myself, I'm the head of business development. I have two senior BD guys working alongside me. We've got head of community and content, and we've got our lead and CEO. We're all largely based in the Southeast Asia region, and very focused on onboarding not only the Western world but the Eastern as well. There was a huge growth of Runes and everything going on in the East, and the growth team, all six of us, are kind of very focused on expanding into both sides of that market. And then, so funnily enough, the growth team mainly is based around Southeast Asia, and then our developers. We have 5 developers in total, and they're spread out between Europe and Canada and North America. So lots of late night calls with the teams to get everything aligned, and lots of late night spaces for us over here.
5 devs, that's big. That's like the number one thing you can have in this space. So that's amazing. It's definitely a plus for me. That's one thing I look for in the team.
Yeah, we've been constantly expanding as the scope of the project kind of keeps increasing. It's become evident that we need more and more team members. We are still very much in the bootstrap phase and pushing towards our token launch, as well as our ordinal launch, as well as our private round closure. So, everyone's here grinding. Honestly, been doing 12 to 16 hours a day for many, many months. And, we're all just pushing as hard as we can to drive this space forwards as fast as possible.
Yeah, I could feel that in your voice just now, that you guys have been working a lot of hours when you said that. But you said something that was pretty interesting with the bridging about the Bitcoin L2 ecosystem. So I actually think that is a great next step, because the Bitcoin L2 ecosystem is going to be like the easiest transition in terms of speed and cost of transaction, right? And then I think about like the Bitcoin layer 1 ecosystem, and if you guys were actually able to penetrate layer 1 and be able to bridge a dog with hat or some sort of established meme coin from Solana to the Runes ecosystem, I think that would be such a big accomplishment. And it's mostly because, like, and this probably because you're in the ecosystem, is that the Bitcoin community that's on layer 1 is very tribal. So have you felt that whenever you've thrown this idea about like bringing Solana assets to native Bitcoin's layer?
Yeah, it's funny. I agree. There's always been a lot of tribalism in Bitcoin. Obviously starting off with the kind of the core development and now into the ecosystem. But yeah, we've generally seen a pretty positive response. We're in conversations, with teams like Hermetico. We're in conversations with our partners at Ordiswap, and the kind of the appetite to have not only runes on these other chains, but also have assets more freely flow into the runes ecosystem. We're getting a good amount of support from projects, and everyone's super interested when we bring this up. At the end of the day, as tribal as people are, everyone in Runes and Ordinals, especially right now, knows that we need more users, we need more liquidity. There are the toolings for L1 DeFi and for L1 functionality coming through. We've got staking, we've got semi-DeFi AMMs, we've got stable coins, we've got all of these things evolving on the Runes ecosystem. And to have kind of more users, more liquidity, more interest coming over to that space again. I think everyone's in agreement that it's something that we need right now. And I personally think it's just a matter of time. The markets have obviously done us quite dirty since the launch. But Bitcoin is going to be the focal point of this cycle, and probably the next couple of cycles, in my personal opinion. And to bring some more teams over and get them interacting with the L1 ecosystem is something that we're super excited, and a lot of the people that we talk to in the space are very excited for it. You occasionally obviously get the people, you get the comments, why move runes to Solana? You can't trust Solana, and then why would we want shit coins and more over to the runes ecosystem? But at the end of the day, it's permissionless, so we're going to do whatever we want and just keep driving it forwards.
Yeah.
That's
the beauty of it. That's the beauty of what we're in. It is permissionless, and it's all. I think we're in an innovation period right now, especially with Bitcoin's on-chain economy. I think that is just such a win in itself. The fact that we have this on-chain economy that we can interact with every single day. That was never the case before. Lightning was trying to push coffee purchases and all these other things that no one was really using, but now we actually have an on-chain economy. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for stuff like this. And I'm excited to see what ends up happening with this bridge 6-12 months down the line.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is we've already seen the rapid pace of what's happening on Bitcoin, and this is because everyone's been practicing all of these different techniques, all of these different ideas on other chains. And it's the whole testnet analogy. Like, Bitcoin really has had years of testnets on other blockchains, and I think we're going to see the growth that's happened over multi-year periods in the next 6 to 12 months on Bitcoin. And I think, by the end of this cycle, Bitcoin L1 is going to look completely different to what it does right now.
Hell yeah, I definitely agree. So I'm gonna take a look at the site here. In the pre-show, we had a few minutes to talk, and you said you guys are going to be doing some massive updates over here. Could you maybe talk about what can we expect in the future? Maybe some more tickers and stuff like that.
Yep. So we've got a couple of fairly high profile, one very high profile, two very high profile runes kind of in the wings right now. We've been working on some custom solutions for them. So we're going to be bringing 2 more projects over in the very near term. We're also in conversations with a bunch of the top, we must be in conversations with about 10 of the top 20 runes. So very excited to be bringing some more functionality. We did have one lined up previously, but it ended up the launch was going to be the Friday before the yen carry trade unwound, and as we were kind of pushing forwards with it, everyone was like looking on chain and looking at some of these metrics, and we were like, something's going to happen here. And that's the really interesting thing about the crypto space, because it's so volatile and so tied to global liquidity. We actually had a bit of an insight into that coming. So we've got more tokens to launch. We're actually working on a full kind of update of the website. We're going to be improving the the UI. We've got a more recent full-time front-end dev who is focusing on building out our portfolio trackers and other toolings. So we're going to be adding, the ability to track other on-chain runes wallets, get notifications when they're buying, what the hottest mints are, all of these kind of, again, taking this experience from the Solana ecosystem and bringing this over. So, we're going for the full kind of coin market cap plus all of these wallet tracking functionalities for the retail user in the Runes ecosystem. And then, obviously we're going to be adding the functionality of Bitcoin L2 bridging to the site as well. Full steam ahead, many updates, both from a aesthetics point of view, but also functionality, and just kind of really trying to make this user experience on L1 as good as possible.
I love it, man. And this is something I love over here too. You guys have the recent. So these are the most recent ones. And I didn't realize, I don't know, did you realize, Yagobi, that we're over almost 94,000 runes?
Well, different
Crazy,
tickers?
Yeah, 94,000 different tickers.
94,013 character tickers. Just think about how many characters that is.
That is absolutely insane.
Well, I love the fact that you guys are like actual Bitcoin ecosystem builders too. I think that makes a big difference. I mean, I love your wizard, PFP there too. So I just wanted to say that, because, if it was just like just a bunch of Solana building that just came over here, I'm not saying that I would just dismiss it right away, but you get a good feeling that it's like they've been building here in Runes, so
yeah,
love that.
So it came from that point. Like the first thing we decided to do is we saw all the issues that happened in the BRC20 ecosystem with the incoherence between the indexes, and obviously Casey released a specification for it this time. So the first thing that we did was we built our own canonical runes indexer, and then that's actually what powers all the back end. And then we were building out the functionality such as the portfolio tracking. We launched our etch and mint on the halving day, and since we've been adding UTXO splitting tools and everything else that you might need. And it was kind of through that iterative process of like, all right, cool, what's the next thing? What do we really need? And it just became abundantly clear that what we need is a way to get assets in and out of the Runes ecosystem. And everyone else was doing Bitcoin EVM L2s, everyone was doing EVM bridges and everything else. And we kind of just had this insight and realized that, Solana was such an obvious place to leverage, especially, like we're very bullish on these Bitcoin L2s, but right now the users, the liquidity, the functionality, everything is still on Solana, and we're super excited to see the Bitcoin L2 space grow. But right now, Solana is by far the obvious choice to integrate into that. So we're very much a Bitcoin focused team who have now realized the value of, always knew the value, but are trying to incorporate the value of Solana into this whole growing ecosystem.
Yeah, interesting. So if I wanted to force you guys into a certain box, kind of label you guys what you are, would you guys say you are a bridge?
It's as things expand, yes. You know, we have a lot of different tools, but the focus moving forwards is very much going to be expanding our bridging architecture. We are already in the process of developing and you know, R&D and researching and putting together a more coherent roadmap for how we continue to decentralize. We're in conversations with partners to bring on trusted node operators, and we actually updated our docs the other day, so you can now see kind of like the earliest roadmap, and we're working on the white paper and other things. But yeah, you know, we're looking to really turn this bridge into a liquidity network that allows users in a more trust minimized way to bridge their assets between these chains. And that's very much going to be our kind of short-term focus moving forwards, probably over the next year or two, to really bring as much decentralization and permissionless to this space. Obviously, everyone knows building on Bitcoin it's not easy, and to do it in a fully decentralized way has not been something that most projects have managed to achieve yet. But you know, we're big proprietors of BitVM. We're obviously watching Opcat and CatVM very closely. More focused on the BitVM side because we know that you know, this is happening in the short term. Super bullish on Opcat and CatVM, but at the end of the day, it could be 6 months, it could be 1 year, it could be 2 years or 4 years. We know how slowly things move in the Bitcoin space. So, you know, our primary focus kind of moving forwards for the foreseeable future will be to expand the functionality of the bridge, increase the security of the bridge, and then eventually, you know, work towards true decentralization, permissionless, trustlessness, and really kind of live up to the Bitcoin ethos, which, you know, I think everyone can agree it's pretty hard to do on Bitcoin at this current point in time.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Opcat. I was going to bring that up as well. If Opcat gets put in tomorrow, we wake up and Opcat is in the Bitcoin code, well, back in the Bitcoin code. Well, what changes for you guys? Are you guys going to be like going crazy trying to get this thing decentralized because now you're kind of able to?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, we're following the evolutions very closely. You know, super excited to see BitVM hopefully coming into testnet towards the end of the month or soon after, and we'll be focusing heavily on that. You know, we are as ready as you can be for something which you have no idea when it's going to happen. So we have ideas in place and plans, but you know, we're focusing our energy on what we believe to be the most guaranteed in the short term, whilst also monitoring what's happening in that space so that we are ready if and when it happens. I believe it will happen, but I couldn't put a time on when it will happen. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I agree too. I think the people that are behind that initiative are the right people to kind of push the buttons. I'm not sure if Udi was helped get Taproot added, but he's obviously was big on it, you know, once it was. So, but I imagine everybody that's working on a bridge would respond the same way you did about the Opcat question there. So yeah, it's going to make things a lot just smoother. And I think it's going to make the changes so much better for applications.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're going to be waiting for these 10-minute blocks, that's fine. As long as you can have this on-chain computation ability, you know, even if you have to add more opcodes down the line, that gets it started. So
yeah, 100% agreed. And, you know, the trickle-on effects that it has to the L2 space and BitVM and everything else, like, it's going to be a major, major change when it comes in. And, you know, we're super excited and following it closely. But yeah, you know, bringing more functionality to Bitcoin L1, it's an obvious thing. It's that interesting thing, you know, coming from, I understand the people's hesitance about making these changes, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin has changed my life. But for myself, having grown up in the Western world, I can get by and have a pretty good standard of life normally, but Bitcoin can just make it much, much better. For other people in the world, Bitcoin is the only thing that can truly kind of change their lives for the better. Not the only thing, but it's a huge deal for a lot of people. So we understand why there is this hesitance, but innovation always tends to prevail, and we think it will come through eventually for sure.
Awesome. So being pre-token and everything like that, are you guys putting together maybe a point system? Is there any incentive to using your product super early?
So yeah, we've actually got an ordinal collection which is coming up to mint. Markets be willing, and we've ran a couple of incentivized test nets campaigns to distribute these. It's actually interesting. So the ordinal is called the Runes keys, and we're actually giving our holders IDO access when the IDO comes around, as well as an airdrop of their token. So that's kind of one way people can get involved right now. We've been doing lots of collabs, giveaways, and stuff like that of these ordinals, but we're currently working on a very new, exciting campaign, which is going to get as many people involved as possible and give them the opportunity to get involved. So we're going to be running competitions in our Discord to earn yourself some of our ordinals, as well as the mine token itself, all coming up in the very near future. And some of this will co-align with the launches onto new chains. We're also working with some of these Bitcoin L2s on some incentivized test nets to earn some of their tokens as well. So yeah, there's definitely going to be lots of opportunity to get involved and use the product and earn. We kind of believe the points meta is over at this point, and we're avoiding going down that route and just giving people tangible rewards for what they do straight away.
I love that, and I definitely agree. I'm so tired of hearing about points.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, you got my last question. Yago, you have anything?
No, I'm just excited to see how this ends up evolving. I think that we're going to see more of this from different ecosystems, but having a trustable bridge to utilize back and forth from Solana, I think is going to show that it's needed. Because Solana's not going anywhere. It's obviously one of the highest performing chains leading up to this bull market. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I did lie. I did have one more question just popped in my head. Are you going to be doing any? Because you did mention potentially doing some BRC20s. Will there be any on-chain bridging? The BRC20s to tap to runes to wherever the next meta protocol is? Is there any discussions within the team about that?
So yeah, we've kind of taken the approach of build what's in front of us next, and we're as you said before, you can tell from my voice, we're here grinding very, very hard and pushing these updates as fast as we can. I believe we're still the only Runes to Solana bridge at this point, and certainly the only audited one, and then expanding the Solana to Bitcoin L2 functionality. We again will be the first there, I believe. So yes, we're absolutely keeping on top of what's happening in the space, seeing the smart contract functionality that came out of TAP the other day, really kind of interesting, exciting stuff, and would love to include the meta protocols into what we're building. With regards to like a specific choice, it's going to be see where the chips fall until we get to that point, and then make our decision at that time. This is a very fluid market. It's a very rapidly evolving market, and we don't want to kind of place our bets before we're actually at the point to develop the technology. So, certainly watching the space very closely and excited to expand into that. But for now, kind of focusing on what we're doing, making sure that we get that right. And then when the time comes, then we'll kind of really dive into what the best route is, where to start with that kind of expansion.
Yeah, man, absolutely amazing, Jeff. You did really good, really good, man. And I don't say that often, but you killed it, knocked out the park. And this is kind of part of the show where I kind of give you the stage. The next few minutes is all yours. You can use this time for anything that you want.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and super excited to see things move forwards from here. As a team, we're also really excited ourselves about everything that's happening. But if you like what you hear, you're interested in the Solana X BTC movement and seeing things grow on this side. Again, we have our ordinals. We're running different pre-sales, different giveaways. You can come jump in our Discord, ask how you can get involved. We've actually been giving key holder roles to the ordinal purchasers. In here, we've built a key holder community. Again, we're taking everything from Solana and bringing it over. So we're dropping alpha in there. We're doing giveaways. We're kind of really providing our key holders that sense of community and working towards having a unified runes community. So, if you're interested, come check out the ordinal, and that will get you access to the IDO itself. We're actually going to be launching our IDO with Seedify, and we have 2 other partners. So that's going to be coming up in the next month or so. So we're super excited about that. And then again, we've got the Bitcoin L2 bridging stuff that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be running test nets with the guys at Botanics, and then, expanding over to the other L2 chains. Just kind of pushing lots and lots of stuff. We've got branding stuff coming up. We've got new UI, UX. So there's so much to come from Runemine, and we've kind of been building in the background a lot recently, but a lot of that is about to come to the forefront, and we've got some more runes coming over to Solana, and then some runes ready to come over to the Bitcoin L2 ecosystem. So it's definitely going to be an explosive couple of months for us, and I think the timing's kind of perfect with the markets, soon to turn around, hopefully. So just come get involved, check out the Twitter, check out the Discord, come get yourself a key if you're bullish. And in the meantime, just keep watching us for updates, because we've got so much to come.
I love it, man. Amazing. And if you guys ever have any updates and you want to get on the show, just reach out to us. We can get you on very soon after you reach out. So we'll definitely have time for you and all your updates and everything. So just keep us in the loop.
Absolutely will. Again, thank you for having us, guys. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm going to send you down below. Just kind of hang out down there, and we're just going to finish out the show.
Cool. Sweet as, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. That was really good. It was better than I expected. Jeff was absolutely amazing. Bridge to Solana. At first, I was kind of like, but now, I mean, it's not just going to be there. It's going to be many other places, and sending some stuff to Solana does make sense.
Well, I think it's just it's going to happen, right? If they don't do it, someone else is going to do it. This is a permissionless world that we live in. People can have their opinions one way or the other. But I'm glad it's someone that knows our space, right? And has built over here. So I think that is a big plus. And you can't deny that Solana has a lot of liquidity, right? So I think a lot of times the tribalism is so strong because we're still very early in this crypto industry, right? Once we get close to TradFi numbers, then it's going to be a little bit more relaxed. It's not going to be as tribal. People are going to be flowing in and out, more interoperable, but you'll know the premium assets, right? And so I think that that's where we're going to eventually be, and this is a part of that infrastructure. So I'm excited to see how this project turns out.
And I'm excited to use it, man. I kind of want one of those keys, so I'm gonna be doing my due diligence, like you all should, honestly. But that's our show, guys. We hope you appreciate it. Hope you liked it. Want to thank Jeff. Go check out his site, runemine.com. So they're .com. So that's I love that. So there it is. One more time. It's runemine.com. Click it, hit the app. You guys can see everything on here. Absolutely amazing. The UI is perfect. And if you guys wouldn't mind going over, check out ordinalrevolution.com as well. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to this last September. If you know someone new just getting into the space, send them our website. They can get caught up very quickly. And check out our merch. We have some of the best merch in the ordinal space. So check us out here. Just take a quick look. And we appreciate it.
Yep. And if you get a chance, please check out our partners. We have BitPerp, which is a premium perpetual DEX that's going to be launching on Botonics, which is a Bitcoin Layer 2 chain, set to launch, I believe, in Q4 on Botonics. But they're going to have a paper trading competition for some real rewards coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll let you guys know any updates on that. Also, Ordinal Hive, which has already been building on Merlin Chain, which is another Bitcoin Layer 2. And they are on native Bitcoin as well. They will have their aggregator ready here soon. We'll get you guys guys some updates on that. And then Fluid Tokens, of course, the DEX where you can trade runes on Bitcoin's native layer. They use limit buy and sell orders as liquidity, and they are a borrowing and a lending platform as well for Ordinal. So check them out. And then VDEX, Rothium DEX, which is focusing on BRC420 single staking, but they are a DEX you can swap out for tokens on Merlin chain as well. They focus on Bitcoin layer 1 assets on Merlin chain. And that is our partners, guys. So we appreciate you guys watching, checking out our partners, and supporting us like you always do.
And guys, we're live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Catch us Monday to Friday, basically every single day. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.